Hiya, it's Kathy Cassidy and I'm back again with chapter 2 of Love from Lexie because I thought it would be cool to read a chapter from a story for the next little while to try and help us all pass the time. So chapter 2. And in this story, Lexie writes a letter or a message to her mum in between each chapter. And that's actually why it's called Love from Lexie. So the very first thing I'm going to read you is the first of those letters. And it's from Lexie to her mum. You can kind of see. Dear Mum, I waited as long as I could, but they came to get me in the end. I'm staying with a foster family now, but there are too many kids and I don't really like it. It's on Kenilworth Road, but I forget the number because it fell off the door. I'm at a different school, the one near the park. Please come and find me soon. I love you. I miss you to the moon and back. Love, Lexie. Chapter 2, The Rescuer. That 9-year-old kid, the girl I used to be, she's just a distant memory now. She was brave and funny and fearless, but the 13-year-old me? Not so much. I fell to pieces and put myself together again, but things aren't quite the same. Maybe I didn't get the pieces in the right places, because when I look in the mirror, I see a girl I just don't recognise. If Mum came back, would she know me? It's the thought that worries me sometimes. My mirror shows a pale-faced girl with brown eyes and freckles, her dark hair chopped into a short, angular bob. She smiles a lot, but her eyes are sad. Nobody has knitted her a rainbow-striped jumper for a very long time. Nobody ever thinks of braiding her hair with cotton threads. These days, I live with foster parents called Mandy and John, in a tree-lined street 3 miles away from the Skylark estate. It's a nicer part of town, near the park, but I'd go back to the estate in a heartbeat if it meant having Mum back again. I'm not sure that will ever happen, but I'll never give up hope. I'm grateful to Mandy and John, I really am, but they are strictly temporary. Of course, we don't know how long temporary will be, Mandy had pointed out at the start. I know you don't want to be here, but how about we make your room feel more homey, more like yours? Pick out some bits and pieces. The bits and pieces I picked weren't quite what Mandy and John were expecting. I like to find things that other people have lost, the stuff they don't want anymore. I like to keep it safe in case someone needs it. My bed is draped in a charity shop patchwork quilt. Mandy helped me to repair the holes, but I often wonder about the person who made that quilt. What was her story? And how did something made with so much love end up in a box with pink nylon curtains and a price tag of $2.99? I found a red Formica table in a skip at the end of the road, a wobbly chair that John had to treat for woodworm before I was allowed to paint it red with white polka dots, a bookcase I'd spotted at a tip. Most of the books on it come from charity shops or the library. A tambourine with ribbons and bells, an old felt berry with a vintage poodle brooch on it. They're all things I've collected. Once I found a box of old ordnance survey maps on the pavement outside a charity shop. The man in the shop told me to take them, that people had no use for maps anymore in an age of sat-nav and Google Earth. I opened out the maps and studied the contour lines, traced a finger along rivers and coastlines. I tried to imagine what the places would look like. Mousehole, Prestwick, Polperro, Pontypridd, hundreds of towns and villages I'd never even heard of. Mandy and John helped me paste some of the maps up over the bedroom walls, a jigsaw of faraway places. It's the perfect wallpaper for a girl who still has nightmares about getting lost. On those nights I lie awake in the dark and wonder if Mum might have found her way to one of those faraway towns or villages and somehow forgotten to come home. I had to switch primary schools when I moved in with Mandy and John, and though I didn't think I had the heart for building new friendships, I changed my mind when I met Happiness Akibi. She was a tiny waif-like girl in an old-fashioned pinafore dress that hung down past her knees, and she was the only person there who looked more lost than I did. "Call me Happy," she said, holding out her hand for me to shake, as if we were sharing a dorm in some posh 1920s boarding school and not just a slightly manic Year 5 classroom. "Are you?" I questioned her, fascinated. "Happy?" "I think I am," she said with a grin, and her whole face lit up. We were odd friends back then, the sad kid whose mum had abandoned her and the bright-eyed Nigerian girl whose dad was a super strict church elder, but we understood each other somehow. I knew I needed Happy in my life. I was still crying in my sleep, waking up every morning with a damp pillow and an empty heart. Sometimes there were nightmares, visions of what might have happened to Mum, and they were sadder still. Mandy and John never complained if I woke up yelling or crying. They never made a fuss. They just worked around it, made allowances. Mandy would come in and sit with me, stroke my hair, whisper soft words, offer hugs. I never accepted those hugs. It felt like a kind of disloyalty to Mum somehow. And at first I struggled to fit in. I was used to being an only child, and Mandy and John had 3 other looked after kids. There were 2 irritating little boys called Wayne and Brandon, who were always yelling and fighting, and Bex, a terrifying 12-year-old force of nature who decided to take me under her wing. "What are you here for?" she demanded that first day in foster. "What's up with your parents? Drugs? Violence? Neglect?" I blinked, terrified. "I've lost my mum," I tried to explain. Bex looked exasperated. She was eating an apple, munching through the crisp white flesh with a careless precision that fascinated me. Even then she was an impressive 5 feet 10 inches of lean, preteen awesomeness, with turquoise blue hair and a nose ring made of Indian silver. Her pink, patent Doc Marten boots looked like they could crush any kind of snarky comment underfoot. Maybe even crush you if you weren't careful. "Lost how?" she wanted to know. "People don't just vanish. Did she die? Run away? Bang her head and lose her memory?" I don't think so," I whispered. "She just went out one day and didn't come back. My social worker says they've reported her missing, but so far the police can't trace her." "Probably just wanted to be shot of you," Brandon said with a smirk. "Shut up, loser," Bex snapped. She chucked her apple core at his head, and it skimmed his ear, leaving a red mark and a smear of apple juice slime. Brandon went off to Mandy to complain, wiping away tears of fury. "You really don't know why she went away?" Bex asked. "There was no warning, no trigger?" Had there been? I had thought about it a lot. Was it because I was boring? Because I didn't want to spread my wings and fly, stick a pin in the map and choose a new place to live? These were the worries that poisoned my dreams, that it had all been my fault. I'd learned to keep those thoughts to myself, though. "Nothing I can think of," I lied. "Mum's a bit of a free spirit, but I don't think she would deliberately leave me." Bex frowned. "A mystery," she declared. "That's probably the worst thing of all, right? At least I know that I'm in care because my stepdad gets nasty when he's drunk, and my mum is too useless to throw him out. And I can be a pain sometimes. I like running away. Wayne and Brandon's mum just can't cope because she's got a new baby, what with the pair of them being horrible little yobs and all. But your case is different, Lexie. A mystery. That must suck. I remember nodding, keen to hang on to any sympathy Bex might have going spare. I remember watching as her expression brightened, her eyes sparking with mischief. "We'll turn detective," she announced. "Look for clues, unravel it all, like Sherlock Holmes and his trusty sidekick, Watson." I could tell right away that Bex was going to be Sherlock and I was going to be Watson, but so what? Anything that might throw up a few clues about what had happened to Mum had to be worth a try. "Okay," I told her. "What do we have to do?" Bex grinned. "Elementary, my dear Watson," she said. So tune in tomorrow and hopefully there will be a new chapter of Love from Lexie for you. And I think there will be a brand new character for you. Not a human character. Maybe I'll be able to introduce you in real life to this character. That's kind of mysterious too, but we'll see anyway. I'll see you then. Take care.